Hey there again, guys. This is me, Charm the Charmeleon, and we're going to continue on our playthrough of MechWarrior Online. Today we're going to the Forest Colony and also River City. Let's start with the Forest Colony. This place is pretty much what it says on the tin. Essentially a forest with a lot of hills and mountains and generally a lot of places to dive into and hide if you need to. Though the western portion of the map is predominated by a big lake, and that's where a lot of people get shot up, so I generally don't ever go over there. There's also a cave on this map, kind of like the whatever the cold map was called. I forget the name of it. I play it all the time. Oh well. But yeah, there's a cave on this map too. It's a little more hidden, especially if you come from a certain direction. But again, it's a good choke point and a place to find your foes trying to sneak up on you. Here I'm starting out the match by just kind of looking around and making sure nothing interesting is popping up too quickly. Also noticing that some of my guys are just simply standing at base. Not usually a good sign. Well, not at base, but nonetheless, I wish they were doing a little bit more. Here's the cave I was talking about, though. It's differently shaped than the ice cave. There's actually more places to hide and fight and maneuver if you need to, though I try to avoid fighting in caves in general. Here I'm basically rushing out. The enemy base is on the left, and I'm just being cautious. Not really sure what to expect. I do consider, however, getting on top of the cave, which is entirely possible. However, I kind of fall off. I'm not the most maneuverable mech ever. I mean, even if I'm in a fast maneuverable mech, I may not know how to maneuver sometimes. Ah well, didn't matter anyways. If there was an enemy around, they could have shot me up during that time, but there wasn't. So, honestly, it was just a stupid mistake on my own. And no harm came of it. Found some enemies over there. Seemed like most of the fighting was happening at the lake, and here I'm actually doing a little bit of recon, simply spotting targets and getting experience for it, as you can see on the left. Actually, quite a bit of spotting I got. So basically, I think I helped some of my team's LRM, long-range missile users, actually hit their targets a little bit easier. I do notice this guy over here, and he notices me as well. We basically noticed each other at the same time. The only difference is he decided to shoot while I just wanted to look at him. Now, I believe this is a Raven or another light mech, but one thing I immediately noticed is that he's got a little bit better armaments than me. At least I'm generally kind of afraid of missiles. So I decided to back off in this situation, especially since I'm hoping that I can lead him right to my guys who happen to be tramping along right behind me. Don't know when they decided to show up, but I'm glad they did. Now with somebody else leading for a bit, especially since I got my torso beat up quite bad, and that's kind of dangerous, I decided to take another attack. I see that we're drawing a little more weapons fire from more than one source. Ah, there's a Raven. I missed my attack, and then I get beat up again. A lot of chaos, a lot of smoke, and a lot of fog. I decided to rush this guy, being that he's being a long-range missile user, and he does change his attention to me. But that's fine with me. It's exactly what I wanted him to do. Because I noticed he was kind of blowing up my ally pretty good. So I wanted to distract him and force him to change his focus, instead of just randomly shooting right at my friend. Here I'm playing a little cat and mouse. I see that an enemy is dead by my quick flashing screen. That's all I wanted to know, who was alive and who wasn't. I almost went for an attack there, but then my critical status is pretty dire. You heard that siren go off. That basically means not only critical, but get the fuck out of there, you're going to die now. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, it actually worked. I kind of figured I was screwed there for a second, especially when I kept running into enemies. Unfortunately, playing on a light mech, sometimes the cars just don't play out right for you, and essentially you're running for your life half the match. It's normal. And the difference is, can you do it? The difference between a pro and a noob is, can you run away well? Here I decided to get in the mix of this attack, since that guy is also running away, not the most dangerous target. And even though I only barely hit him, I got a kill assist, which is another good reason to try to hit targets, even if you can't do a lot of damage. Decided to sit still for a second and kind of nurse my wounds. But then decide, oh god. And then that guy, I thought he was facing me, but then since I noticed his back was to me, I decided to take a shot. However, that is either heavy mech or medium, I can't tell. Regardless, he's dead as well. I have good teammates in this one. They're actually playing a lot better than me. See a cicada over there. That is a medium mech, if I remember correctly. So I will want to take that carefully. Fortunately, I just watched that guy kill a teammate. Fortunately, I have other teammates around, but that was a shame. This match I really did have trouble finding my stride, but here's a good situation where I could do a nice back attack and go ahead and pursue this guy and almost get the kill if that missile hadn't hit him first. Nonetheless, I definitely helped that particular little fight out. I was debating taking the base, but seeing that we're doing so well, I decided to go and help play a little offense, even though, again, my critical status doesn't exactly make it the safest to fight, but lo and behold, my teammates keep killing things before I can get to anything, so I keep running around trying to find a target. This is frustrating, but only in a good way, since it means that we're doing well. This dragon is actually the last target as far as things look. And seeing all these teammates running around him, you pretty much know he's kind of screwed. I go ahead and get in the mix too, because why not? Friendly fire does exist in this game though, so a situation like this you could easily hit a teammate. I've gotten hit by teammates doing just strafing runs. Oh, I take that back. There's actually, oh wait, actually I think that was the last target. Yep, that was it. I didn't do very much in that match, but I still did more damage than some people. Or that one guy, Steel Pilot Lexa. In any case, a good victory. Now we'll move on to River City. This is the final of the 4 maps, and thus the last part of this video. River City is essentially exactly what it sounds. Once again, it's a city, divided into several portions by a river. Our base here starts at sort of a bay, a little dock, but the enemy base would be on the opposite side of the river, on the opposite side of the city. Pretty predictable. I decided to cross over to the opposite side of the city immediately. Seeing that somebody else is saying they're going to scout rights, I decided to come right along with them. You may notice by now that my tactic is basically to not take the beaten path. I like to kind of slip around and try to see what's going on in less inhabited areas of the map. It certainly doesn't mean I get into... That doesn't mean that I avoid all the scraps, though. I'm simply trying to find the scraps that I have the best advantage to fight. LRM users are very common on this map. That's another reason I don't want to take the beaten path, because I often get blown up by hordes of missiles doing that. Lo and behold, though, we actually find a missile user right here. He's a little heavy for my taste, but given the terrain and situation, I decided that this is a worthy fight, especially since I have a friend helping me out. It's actually a little difficult to find this guy, but he ends up getting himself stuck, so what the hell, run right into him. And then merge with him for a minute. glitchy. Love it. Thought that guy was going to throw an attack at me, so I jetted away real fast, but... The jump jets, in addition to letting me, you know, jump and get on top of things, a quick little burst can also kind of knock you out of the way of an attack if needed. Two light mechs versus even a heavy mech is actually a pretty fair fight. The big mechs can certainly do a lot of damage to a light mech like me and that other guy, but it is worth noting that we can run circles around them. So if you can just focus on not staying in the way of their weapons, it's actually quite viable to take one down as long as it doesn't have friends. I decided to look around a bit because I noticed it was running away. Then suddenly attack, and I wasn't expecting that. I have no clue where it came from, so I decided my best course of action would be to jump over a building and then try to kind of collect myself for a minute. I expect a back attack at this point, so I look around. Then I notice our base is under attack. That's not a good thing. But I notice that we're also attacking the enemy base. So I decided to immediately rush to the base and ignore whatever hit me, because it's a case of attrition. If we can take the enemy base meter down before they can do it to ours, then, well, we'll win first. Even if they're on top of our base while we win. I see there's a lot of guys already at the war zone, which, well, there's a lot of chaos going on, but you know what? I'll get down with this. That's what I figured. Fortunately, in this particular situation, while there were plenty of enemies, none of them really seemed to care too much about me. Works to my advantage because I can get back attacks easier. In that case, I blew off a component almost. I didn't get the component blowing off experience, though, because I think my friend actually managed to knock it off. But I certainly helped knocking it off in that situation. This guy's actually shut down, probably because of an overheat, which lets me have a nice free shot at him. I still like to be sneaky and dodgy, even if I'm not really being focused on. Unfortunately, here I learned that girders are annoying. I thought I could slip through this, but apparently not. So I decided, okay, fine, fly over it then. Jeez. One of the enemies got killed while I was getting stuck. Such a glamorous and graceful situation I was in. Only reason I didn't attack that raven was because I didn't like being facing it. And I was wondering why it's standing still. So I think it might be an AFK player as well. Regardless of if it is or not, though, we should probably kill it. That guy is definitely doing that. Not sure what I'm doing here. Ah. Another enemy comes this way. And at that point, I decided just to stay on the base and get a win. Victory via base steal. And that was my playthrough of MechWarrior Online. All 4 maps. I'll see you guys later.